This graphic is the natural history of substance use provided by Dr. Zilli Sloboda. Let me explain what all you're seeing here. In the bottom left corner are the influential factors represented by three colors. The dark blue color represents personal characteristics of an individual. The green color represents our environmental factors, and the orange color looks at the pharmacological factors. In most circumstances, people begin their life cycle typically with no use. Although there are some extenuating circumstances, say a neonatal situation where a child is born with substances on board. But for most typical situations, we're not talking about that. In a general sense, we start life at the place of having never used. So the first transition is from no use to the initiation of use. If you'll notice, there are only two colors here, green, which were the environmental factors, and blue, right before you get to box 1. What you'll see here is that the green circle is actually bigger, and this is conveying that before we ever use, our environment plays a really strong role in the probability and vulnerability to initiating substance use. Here in prevention, this is where we do our greatest work. We focus on how to delay first use. We're hoping most people wait until 21 or later to initiate use, which is why our work focuses here. From box 1, people can either go to box 2, where someone says, you know what, I've tried this, I'm good, not interested, and they discontinue use. But then there are folks who move over to box 3 and continue to use, whether that's by frequency or adding new substances or varying how they take the substance. The connection between first use and continued use is between boxes 1 and 3. You'll notice there are 3 circles here. The environment is really still in the picture, but now our personal characteristics have kicked in. Why? Because we're using a substance. So for the first time, our personal characteristics like gender or genetic history begin to interact with the last circle, the orange one, which is the actual substance. In our prevention work, we do a lot of great work here too. And I encourage you to think about strategies we use to help people who are in box 3. The last box I want to think about is the connection for what happens after continued use. There are 2 places people can go. Some people end up in the top box, which is box 4, where they develop potential health problems. Or some people move right along to use that doesn't create any health problems. Now, it's important to remember and to state that the majority of folks who use substances are actually in box 5, experiencing no health issues. However, for different reasons and factors, there are some folks who end up in box 4 where there are health problems. What you may notice here is that the orange circle got relatively larger. This is the first time we're really seeing the pharmacological factors of the substance being used begins to impact a person in a very strong way. So the potential for health problems really begins to develop at this point. In our prevention work, I would say that our indicated and harm reduction work sits in the place between boxes 3 and 4. But the majority of the work that someone is needing when they move into box 4 actually moves outside of the scope of the prevention profession.